All right, sick. So, Flubbs, are you ready to begin?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Let's actually start with a ditto,
All right.
just because it's a little more straightforward in kind of how to apply things. Ah, this character's so weird.
Yeah. Especially if you don't main him, I imagine it's hard to switch to Olimar mode.
I played so much Olimar in friendlies.
Yeah, I've heard about the Fuzz Lamar.
You've heard? Oh man, it's either really good or really bad.
I think I heard it like won a couple locals or something, so it must be pretty good. Ah, frick.
Oh, this is a weird lineup. Okay. Oh.
Oh geez, the blue throw.
Sometimes it just turns out blue. All right. Siffy time. Oh. No, my
Oh.
yellow died. Okay. So, ow. My knuckles on something. Um, I guess let's start from the top, right? So, have you been? I remember last time we talked about Olimar, uh, we had talked about kind of like being able to just kind of have a base use for every Pikmin, like a quick and dirty like cheat sheet, right?
Yeah.
So like blue
And
is grabs, yellow is
yep.
aerials, purple is throw or strong aerials. Do you feel a little more
Um,
comfortable than the last time, last lesson we had about kind of like knowing which Pikmin you have?
yeah, I feel a lot more comfortable because like I actually know what they do, and sometimes I'll kind of autopilot it. Unfortunately, where like every time I get a purple, I'm gonna just throw it. But at the very least, I'm playing to their strengths for the most part.
Yeah, it's good that that your autopilot is at least like, oh well, the purple is good for side B and the yellow is good for aerial, etc. And it's also good
Yep.
that you're kind of aware of that, like, oh, when you kind of like zone out a little bit and stop thinking, that's what you go to. It's good awareness.
The only thing I'm still not sure on is white. Like I usually just throw it, but I don't exactly know what purpose it serves in general.
It basically, let's go into game. It serves two purposes. Oh, perfect. You have a white. Yellow. White. Okay, great. So you could, yeah, let's get rid of this and this. You can use it for like low knockback. Like, I guess chain grab is kind of the idea here. Into like I'll throw chain grabs at super low percent on some characters. You can also use it for like very low knockback damage racking, especially once it's flowered.
Okay. So it's a combo Pikmin like yellow.
Yeah, it's even weaker than yellow, which is great for that.
Okay.
Because even at the 100, that was 100 with the most flowered Pikmin. Like, it. If you DI that in at lower percents. Oh, another way. Oh my. Okay.
You got 3.
Give me something else. Perfect. Okay, so. Let me actually get rid of 2 of these. So, in the normal order, after you whistle, it is, I think it's RBY, and then importantly, it's white purple. So even at 130, that probably didn't true combo, but that was like threatening.
Yeah.
That kind of like a 1-2 punch is really, really threatening if you have both of these at once. So, you know, if we build a little percent, which white's actually really good at too. We can do things like, oh, on this grab, even on DI out, you still get hit by the purple there. Or, let's say after a grab, or, you know, there's some kind of maybe down tilt interaction. I'm trying to build some percent right now. Some down tilt, like down tilt into... Like, oh, you didn't expect the back air to send so close. So that's like purpose number 2. And it requires a little more like awareness. The big awareness thing is like, oh, did I whistle with the white and the purple both out to get them in that order? And sometimes you don't have to whistle to necessarily see that. If you can like knock someone across the stage as you run, they line up real nice. But getting strings like that is much easier with purples.
Gotcha.
Because you have that naturally like combo move into kill move, with the white Pikmin into purple Pikmin.
Gotcha.
So as the kind of cheat, white's a little kind of like purple, right? Where purple is either chuck it for a good projectile or use it for a good kill move. White is chuck it for a projectile that is threatening later. It's like a time bomb, right?
Yeah, that was what I was using it for the most part. I wasn't really using it for like the knockback and chain grabs and stuff.
Yeah, and it's one of those like it's fine to kind of like use it for the projectile and then move on to kind of like come back to using white as a combo move later because it's a little more conditional.
Right.
Just as long as like that's something you can look at like later it's like an optimization thing, right? So if you find yourself with white Pikmin a lot, or like if they're living at like 120 and you're having a hard time like getting anything off a grab without blue, it's like, oh, maybe in this matchup especially, it's very matchup specific. Like maybe the Bowser matchup is like, oh, white up throw goes very nicely against heavies, where you can't really combo them off of down tilt, or straight hits won't really kill them until high percent. It can give you more options, basically.
Right.
Because so like the goal is to either edgeguard them or kill them with a strong Pikmin. That makes it kind of awkward when you hit that percent where like even purple might not kill outright or go enough for an edgeguard, but being able to enforce a DI mix-up with a white Pikmin, especially white Pikmin into whistle, so like once the opponent starts realizing, oh, I should DI the white Pikmin away, and you normally get nothing, if you whistle first and do your aerial, by default whistle order, that's red. So they're DIing away on red, which is pretty strong.
Oh.
Like, let's go back to FD just real quick.
Yeah, I've been trying to do some whistle mix-ups, but like I haven't really thought about it with white and red specifically.
So, okay, let's do blue. I didn't get the aerial out in time. And this is a 0%, so it's not really significant at this percent, but it is the... let's just build low percent. Okay, sick. I missed. Now I gotta do all this over again. So let's say... Oh yeah, whistle's kind of funky. So right now, if I have whistle, I get the purple. Okay, if I understand this correctly. So now, if I whistle, I should go to purple. Yeah, okay. Get this out of the way.
It's RBY, then white and purple?
Yep.
Yeah.
So, let's say I try to a DI mix up. I'll do down tilt. Alright, so down tilt. It's like 15-ish frames total. It might be fast enough to like fuzzy if they're looking for it. So like DI away for white, and then if the hit doesn't come quickly, start DIing for survival moves. For survival DI for like a purple move. But at that point, they're focusing so much on like your character that they're gonna have holes in the rest of their game plan elsewhere. Especially because like white Pikmin, it's 100% also something you can just kind of like fire at them. Why did they go that way? Oh, it's red, yellow, blue. My mistake. But if you just kind of like chuck it, fully gone.
I just kind of instinctually.
But like you have to hit that, especially at high percent, because now at high percent you have even less time. They'll explode faster.
They explode faster based on percent?
Yeah, it's how many hits they have to do. So.
Oh, okay.
Actually, let me get a white before I start giving you percent. No, not you. Not you. Not you. There we go. So here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then explosion. Oh, now I gotta find it. Okay, there we go. And if we build you, let's say to build you to 100%, right? Wait, did that work, I wonder, in the air? Can you footstool there? Shoot.
Probably if I was at lower percent.
And on the ground, it should work. But that's whack. So at 30, it took 5 hits and then exploded. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Wait, is this might not... I might be thinking of an older version. Let's see.
Yeah, it's still doing 5.
Does that kill... Okay, thank goodness.
No.
You're at 150. Does Jab 1 have set knockback? Great. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there's some threshold there where that does 3. So
yeah,
I don't know 100% where that is, but at those extreme high percents,
140.
Yeah, it looks like about 150, 140. I think you're right. Those extreme high percents, that becomes a very pressing, like, oh, I'm at 150. If I get knocked up like 3 feet and then can't move, any Pikmin aerial is going to kill me. So it becomes priority number 1. So all this to say, I think for for the white Pikmin, like just chucking them and forgetting is fine for now. But just so long as you're aware that like it's so fast, like chucking them and then just like moving on. And trying to use the time bomb nature of the Pikmin is fine for now. But there will be times sometimes, especially like when you pull and immediately like have to go hit a button. Like you can't. It's not like, oh, I'm pulling between stocks. Oh, I have a white Pikmin. Okay, chuck. But like, let's say, like you knock them away at like mid%. Okay, pull Pikmin, go. And you don't have time to like, be like, oh, that's a white Pikmin.
Right.
Reverse back air, get hype. Who is it that does reverse back air? Is it Gutty? Is that Gutty's all
Yeah,
about?
have you seen the collision data on reverse bear?
No, but it's weird. I know it's
Gutty
weird.
showed me at Blacklisted 6, and it sends you in a very weird direction.
Alright, so I think for the kind of the cheat sheet of the Pikmin, I think you're pretty solid on that, like you're saying. Like, the fact that you feel comfortable is the big thing. So maybe that's something to mess around with the white Pikmin. You can kind of just like we're saying with the cheat sheet, right? There's definitely times and places to mix it up for like, oh, for blue, go for the hit because it's more likely to hit as opposed to the grab when they're looking for it. But that's something to experiment with once you kind of have the basis, which aside from the white Pikmin, it sounds like you do.
Yep.
You mentioned you don't really know kind of what your thing is, what your play style, like what you enjoy doing.
Yeah, I feel kind of all over the place with that. I don't know. I mean, all I can think about is really like broad stuff, like, oh, I like outplaying my opponent, but wait, everyone does. So,
we like playing PM in this house. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I think that a good way to kind of tackle that is to get a little more exposed to like what different options Olimar might have, like in neutral, like broad options. So ignoring the actual color of the Pikmin for a minute, like with the fair and back air, you have a lot of control over like horizontal spacing, almost a la Marth a little bit, but with better reward significantly. Oh yeah, you have B reverse whistle. You have kind of tricky movement with low, really might be the lowest commitment in the game, B reverse move. I don't know. Frame count, I know it's super low. I don't know if it's the lowest.
It's pretty low.
Land cancel stuff is probably lower, but that's cheating. Wait, does it land cancel?
I don't think so.
No, it's just that fast. Okay. So, like, you have a lot of options for, like a quick momentum reverse. You have a lot of, like, you got a pretty fair amount of distron in these, and the Pikmin can't get hit in P+, while they're in active frames, thank goodness.
Oh, yeah.
I played so much Bowser, Olimar, and Friendlies in PM in 3.6, and the number of times that I would swing with a Pikmin, and it would get hit by Bowser down smash and die was absurd.
Yeah, I heard Fox used to just be able to nair through Pikmin.
Yeah, nair through, like, the attacks, which was rough. His movements attributes actually aren't super bad. Like, this is a pretty decent dash dance, especially for a floaty. The wave dash length is nice.
He's a floaty?
Yeah, pretty more or less. He's not a fastballer. Like, his fastball speed is decent, but, like, he might be like a, what's the term, mid-faller, whatever that is, but he's not a fastballer.
Is it, like, semi-fast faller?
I think semi-fastballers are like Roy and Meta Knight. And
Oh,
Lucas.
yeah. It's definitely not that fast.
Yeah. I got into a very silly argument with Che about this at Undertow. Wait. The LTC event. I always mix them up. where he was like, Ganon's not a floaty. And we were like, well, he doesn't fall faster than Roy, so he's a floaty. The entire weekend, that was the bit. But like, regardless,
Floaty Ganon.
Yeah, floaty Ganon.
He has a float.
Yeah, he did not like me very much for about an hour that weekend. It was a one-sided bit that he did not participate in. But yeah, like you have a fair bit of like timing mix-ups of late versus immediate on your aerials. You can full hop, double aerial. Pretty like it's not super tight on fair bear or fair. So that gives you a lot of like different timings basically. So let's see if Marth short hop fairs, he either is going to land or he's going to do another fair right before he lands. So you know when the attack is coming. Excuse me. But with the full hop here, it's kind of like with Ganon Float, right? This is threatening space for a long amount of time. Because you don't know if it's going to be just a fair on landing, a fair on double jump, an immediate kind of like fast fall fair after the first short hop, a fast fall through, you can like, you can like run forward and then back air. Let's say if you were like right here in shield, you're going to be stationary. You can hit your shield on the way up and the way down. Because his attributes aren't like phenomenal, but they're definitely decent enough to get the job done with regards to like, especially the way his grab works. Yeah, this pivot grab is ridiculous. Let me get rid of the purple.
Yeah.
The purple's ruined my vibe.
There's a specific thing I found out that's silly where if you go and grab with the Pikmin at the edge of the platform on WarioWare like that, it actually sends them onto the platform right above it. And,
when they go up?
You can, yeah, and then you can do a really quick smash attack with it, I think, but it's so situational. I don't think you can do it on Battlefield, though.
Gotcha. It's the puppet smashing.
Yeah.
I love how far the Pikmin fly when they get hit. White's still up there somewhere. He's not dead. Yeah, see, there he is. Yep. But yeah, like especially with the way that Olimar specifically his brawl pivot grab works, like this is cheating. This is fully ridiculous.
Really good.
So like you can play a grounded like dash dance bait and punish game even with the Pikmin with like mag grabs. You can play like a little more in the air. Especially with like red and purple, especially red being pretty good on shield. Like you can enforce like fair jab a little bit. And then once they kind of like are respecting you and shielding there or taking some kind of defensive option, you can work around it because you have confidence that they're not going to attack you out of fair. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
It's like same way that Falcon gets like knee to jab. Because you know that the knee will interrupt what you do. The jab will interrupt what you do. So you defend against the jab, and then it becomes the question of like, oh, is he going to jab from a defensive standpoint? It's a decision that Falcon is making.
Yeah. So like people are going to have to question, am I going to fair again? Am I going to fair? Am I going to... And then with Whistle too, I can just like do a million things, it feels like.
Yep, especially with the range on this. Like, even without yellow, this is really good range for a move that is usually as straightforward and strong as like, not maybe not white, but like, so like if I hit you with the tip of this, normally hitting with the tip of moves is kind of like meh. But yeah, that was wild. That's like I don't want to say it's frame 5. I don't put a number on it, but it's very fast with yellows especially.
Oh, with flowered yellow, it's frame 5, I believe.
Okay. Fair is like, what, frame 3 with flowered? It's even faster?
Yeah.
God, yellow aerials are kind of I don't want to say they're a problem because they're an Olimar, but like...
Yeah, he needs it.
I haven't heard that phrase in years. I'm here for it. Yeah, he also, because of his kind of general floatiness, he has a pretty comfortable time off stage, being a little more proactive with edge guarding. So like, Yeah, there's situations where you can with his kind of slower fall speed and his aerials being not super laggy aside from dare, and his up B actually being really kind of cracked, like really solid with the grab box. His grab box in general is really good. You can press your advantage in a lot of different ways based on what Pikmin you have. So like especially it's very variable based on the lineup. And again, it can be one of those things like, okay, like level 1, the cheat sheet is I have red and purple. I'm not going to grab with the purple. Like I might, come in with a purple throw. I might, like use red for the shield advantage. I might use purple for the like. If I am going to grab with purple, it's going to be for the chain grab. Actually, on Olimar, this is. Yeah, this character's wild. So, it's a little bit of like it's kind of dealer's choice on what specifically you want to focus on. So, I think, like, how different all the Olimars plays. He's one of those brawl characters like Bees, CP9, Gutty, all play super different. They all have very different opinions on which single-flowered Pikmin color is the best.
Yeah, Bees just straight up told me blue is bad.
Bees is wrong.
Which I don't entirely agree with.
It's very colored on, like, based on the region, the matchups you play frequently in a region. So, like, blue is better against characters that want to stay grounded more. So, like, maybe against Puff, yeah, blue is pretty bad. I would agree with that. But maybe against Meta Knight, blue is more important to get that base knockback and up throw.
Oh yeah, no, I love blue in that matchup.
Maybe against Pikachu, blue is not so great because the other throws might get you a short chain grab at very low %. Or like he's going to be, naring at you like a Spacey a lot of the time. Or maybe against these characters, pivot grab blue is better than the rest of the Pikmin. So there's a lot of like room to explore both what you enjoy doing as Olimar and then also like against Marth, right? Maybe blue is important for that shield grab range on something, or blue is bad because this Marth you're playing against is very like a short hop fairy.
Yeah.
So to kind of like get back to the thread a little bit about what you enjoy doing, there's obviously like doing well is the kind of like universal answer. Do you like, this is going to sound like a weird question, do you like being correct about what the opponent is going to do, or do you like forcing them to make a bad decision?
Oh, the latter. I like, this is going to sound weird. I like bullying people in the game.
Oh, no, 100%.
Life.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like, I'm very much
outside the venue, you're like, yeah, I put Olimar.
Yeah, like, when I played Wario, that was what I would do. Like, I like getting in someone's face and pressuring them. I don't like trying to play 4-dimensional chess where I guess their next move because I'm very bad at that.
Gotcha. So you'd rather just like make all of their options bad so you don't have to guess which one it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell yeah.
It's the smaller brain option. I like it.
Hey, Olimar's a small guy. He doesn't also his head shape does not allow for a like reasonably sized brain. Hey Arnold, no. Football head. God, what is his facial expression?
I don't even know. Have you ever heard his actual voice?
I feel like that's cursed knowledge, and if I have, I would immediately forget it out of like self-preservation.
Okay, well, I guess you're better off not knowing. I thought he would sound like Luigi, and then when I saw his voice logs in Pikmin 3 Deluxe, yeah, no, he has the deepest voice of like any of the captains. It's really, really weird. I feel like Louie could sound like Luigi, like, oh, Captain Olimar. I'll definitely look it up later. Now I am curious. Now you've piqued me interest, boy. Yeah, definitely tell me what you think of it. I've been showing it to all my friends lately. They're like, "What? It sounds like that."
Why is this cursed? Yeah. All right, so let's hop back into. I guess before let's play in a minute rather than go on another Jasper tangent. But let's talk about kind of the tools you have to bully people.
Okay.
And again, a lot of this can be matchup dependent, but a lot of them are also like, they're matchup dependent in effectiveness, not in the fact that they do work. So, we get these in order. Blue is a really useful check for like, hey, hey, you were trying to like wait me out, pivot grab. Like if you see Nest players, for some reason, not for some reason, because Nest's back throw is really strong. So a lot of times when Nest players have someone at ledge, they'll do this. They'll do the classic run through back throw. Olimar can do that from way further out because of his pivot grab with blue. So go ahead and just stand right there. It can go probably right about here even. So even in situations where, like as Wario, when you grab a spacey and you back throw and all of a sudden from here they are off stage?
Yeah.
Blue can kind of have that same effect starting at like mid and higher percents. Because the base knockback is really bad on the back throw at least, but the growth is really, really good. So all of a sudden, boom, edgeguard situation, time to guess. Okay,
Yeah.
Because because his fall speed isn't really that fast, and his aerials are Olimar's straightforward in a lot more ways than you would expect. Like fair sends where it looks like you think a fair should go. Same with bear. Same with up air and down air. So he has a lot of like ease. So like as Wario, you have to use nair. You can't just fair at someone off stage and have it hurt them. With Olimar, you should be like, hey, Pikmin, go. And you can it kind of like simplifies the process a little bit.
Right.
Which is very funny for the character whose attacks are a resource. But, again, all of the Pikmin, they might have different numbers, but they all send the same way. Even the grabs, like, there's blue and then there's the other throws. For the most part, they're pretty much the same outside. Like, I say pretty much the same. They're slightly different, but the throw data isn't like, oh, red will send to the different angle, and you have to consider that when DIing, or like this. Like, no, but just numbers.
Yeah.
So the pivot grab lets you kind of like check people that are trying to defend your pressure. And your pressure can be very varied and safe for that same kind of reason. Because, back air, you can push people off stage very easily. Oh my lord, I didn't think that would hit. Yellows are a problem.
Nah, he needs it.
He needs it. He needs problems.
he needs problem. Not a problem for me. Problem for everybody else.
There we go. But, like, if I'm in shield here, you can threaten me with, like, a run-up aerial very easily. And it's very easy for me to understand, like, oh, if I get hit by this, I'm in trouble. So between, like I said before, his dash sense is pretty decent. It also kind of obscures this is very stupid. It kind of makes it hard to tell what color is next in line. So for people that don't know it's the antenna, I'm sure you've heard many like, what Pikmin, how am I supposed to know? It's like, well, it's on his head, thank goodness.
I started telling people in my region that because they didn't even know. And I was like, oh, I thought like I was just the one lone idiot for not knowing, but no, a lot of people don't.
No, because it's one of those things. Once you know that that's the next color, it's great. But until then, it's like, okay, his antenna's glowing. Who cares? I got to look at 4 little like plants running around.
I thought that the glow on the antenna was actually the order he'd pick the next Pikmin in for the longest time.
That would make sense too. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it's completely RNG, right?
I believe it's completely RNG. Yeah. In Brawl, different surfaces had different chances, which was fun, but like in the Brawl way.
Yeah, that sounds kooky, but something that would be very frustrating and competitive.
Yeah, it's fun in the same way where the Pokemon trainer's Pokemon would get tired after 60 seconds.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they would do like 20% less knockback. It was bad. Like, fully.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Brawl was a fever dream. Are we sure Brawl was a real game?
I mean, we have to boot to Brawl sometimes, so I think so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there are legends that sometimes on PM Startup, a different gameplays. So, Anyway, because his attacks are so straightforward, like down tilt sends it the down tilt angle. It's like it's a knockup move that lets you get an aerial. You know, it's straightforward. F tilt is F tilt. Up tilt, pretty much what you'd expect. You wouldn't expect it to be so good, but it is that kind of like when you think of a Smash character's up tilt. Okay, great. You know, that's what the Smash up tilt is in PM.
Yeah, all of Olimar's Pikmin-less attacks are, or well, at least the tilts are not bad.
Yeah.
And Nair's not bad either.
Yeah, Nair's definitely like a move that, if you need it, is great. It's also not bad pressure. Like, it's definitely not fantastic pressure, but like, it's got good reward on hit. That same kind of like down tilt angle.
Yeah.
Okay, I said I wouldn't go on a tangent. Now 6 minutes later. All right, so let's go ahead and just play. And let's both try to bully each other. I'll try to play with the focus on that, and you try to play with the focus on that. Yeah, like, it might just be a Mewtwo thing, but like, there's a lot of power in just having like a move that will like knock your opponent off stage, at pretty much any point in the match. What was that grab? Like, even the dash attack is like a decent combo move in that way.
Yeah.
I'm sad.
Oof. You know, getting pineappled as Olimar is the saddest thing. It happens to me too much.
Honestly, one of the weirdest things about Olimar, his attacks, is that jab and down tilt have like a 0 knockback hitbox for some reason.
They do?
Yeah, so real quick, if I jab you, see how there's like 2 hits?
Yeah.
Down tilt also has one, so if you shield down tilt, see? That has no knockback.
Huh.
But it makes people think that it's a 2-hit move, so sometimes their out of shield's a little worse.
Huh.
Oh god, I remember Shokyo's Crusade. That like Olimar shouldn't be affected by grab armor, as if it was a decision. As if the PM devs were like, no, Olimar's too powerful. He must be kept in line.
Wasn't Shokyo an Olimar player?
He was primarily a ZSS, but he did play some Olimar as well. Yeah, I'm a moron. B reversing down B is hard, okay?
Yeah, I feel that. I side B instead a lot.
Okay, we're going Siffy.
Oh no.
But, yeah, so I think let's stick with bullying for now. That's a weird sentence even in context. That's not a weird sentence.
Yeah.
All right, so get some more water. If what you enjoy doing is kind of like bullying people in shield, making them afraid to kind of like move or like contest you, I think that a lot of an angle that you can kind of take in your matches is to hold a lot of stage, because like I was saying, how Olimar's, it is a weirdly kind of like nice privilege to have a forward air that sends away, a back air that sends away, and just straightforward moves. Because like even good characters can have weird times with that. Like Meta Knight has to running nair at you to send you off stage. Like Marth Fair doesn't really send you off stage. Fox has to like get up in your face, send you off stage. Olimar can just do it from like the tip of his disjointed is the right word, Pikmin. So you can play like right at the tip of your range, especially if they're in shield, and like try to just push and push and push them off stage and bully them in that way. Something I've noticed also is that you do tend to jump at inopportune times. Like a lot of the times you'll burn your double jump in places that are a little more likely to get hits. Yeah, perfect. I was actually just about to. That's the saddest thing I've ever seen. I was actually about to say, with neutral, but you do have a little stall when you're in these weird, like, you're kind of you've been hit away at like 60. So using neutral B, using neutral B instead in those situations can be pretty powerful. Just hit the Pikmin as you're charging it.
Yeah, I think I panic jump sometimes off stage, and then I'm like, wait, but I don't have to.
Yeah. A lot of characters... Oh, that caught my spot dodge, good lord. A lot of characters can have a hard time, like, trying to edgeguard characters that are floatier than them.
And I am a floaty. Huh.
Right. So, because Olimar is floatier than most of the cast he'll go against, at least, he can go out deep. He can stall for longer. Like that neutral B wasn't an awful idea. I just kind of like that's what I was looking for. So that's the option I decided to cover. Oh. So it can make, especially with his like very straightforward moves, like, oh, if you think someone's gonna like go off stage to hit you, you can just double jump fair them. And like if they're at high percent, that'll knock them far away. If they're at low percent, that puts them in a weird spot where you might be able to hit them again and then still make it back.
Huh.
So you retain a lot of like, I don't want to say threat, but like Olimar retains the ability to defend himself pretty decently off stage.
Right.
I had no idea who was grabbed. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I thought I had blue, but I had a purple in front.
The damage, though. Think of the damage. There we go. So yeah, especially, like, if you want to bully someone and they're just trying to get away from you, that's still kind of a win, because, like, Olimar doesn't become, like, the best character in the game with flowered Pikmin, but it just increases the risk on everything the opponent does, right? Not quite. So, like, if you decide that, or if I decide against Olimar, right, that, oh, I want to, like, just, you know, run away from Olimar, circle camp Olimar, you can do that, but there's still the problem of, like, now you got to put up with really good yellow aerials versus just, like, pretty good yellow aerials. Yeah, at that point, because you lost your jump so early, you kind of lack that ability to evade. So even though you can hit me with that forward air, it's kind of like a so what thing because you have so few resources.
Right. Yeah, I kind of don't want to get there to begin with.
Right. Usually, when especially as a floaty, like the only way you die at low percent is getting killed off stage. And the only way usually, especially as Olimar, who's up, he actually goes pretty far now. The only way you're going to die off stage is if you don't have your jump, or they just really spike you good. Like if you DI wrong for the Ken combo at 50, you might just be dead, but you're super dead if you don't have your jump.
Yeah.
But similarly, I can never say this stupid word. In the same way, that means that applies to the rest of the cast, right? Like. Sniping jumps is one of the biggest ways to kind of like put people into that situation where they don't have options, where you don't need to guess what they're going to do because, hey, you know, you are going to fall because gravity works. It doesn't matter what button you press. Luigi, I don't care how good your nair is. You can't outspace my forward air and you don't have control of that. Like, I don't care about how good your shine pressure is if you're 30 feet in the air without a jump, right?
Yeah.
And just that kind of thing. You can pretty much any character that is out of jumps in the air above somebody is in probably their worst position. Like I'm kind of eyeballing the cast. I can't really think of a character in the cast that would rather be there than somewhere else, like on the screen.
Above someone with no jumps?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think that applies to anybody.
I guess Kirby can kind of deal with it, but that doesn't mean he wants to be there.
No.
Yeah, so in that way, like, a lot of the times you'll see, even when I'm tossing you out for these edge guards, I'm like throwing you off stage or hitting you off stage, and they're just kind of giving you the time to jump, right? In that way where it's like, okay, if you jump, you have to jump, like, you're not, like, so if you're here, right? Or let me get a better shot. So if I end up hitting you here, I could, like, let's say I'm on ledge, right? I could run off and try to hit you if you don't jump, but then you have your jump, even if I hit you, right?
Yeah.
So now we both have to get back to stage. However, if I just chill at ledge and kind of like try to catch a double jump. So if let's say on this frame, this Olimar double jumps towards ledge. And you, as Olimar, are kind of ready for that. You can double jump fair. You can up air. Like, you have your options to hold ledge. Even if you're wrong, it's fine. Or not hold ledge literally. Hold stage control. And even if you're wrong, it's fine. You don't lose stage control. But if you're right, the opponent doesn't have a jump.
Gotcha.
This kind of goes away a little bit when the character can go to ledge. Most of the cast would rather go to ledge and then fight back from there than try to like go high, unless either you're having issues punishing it, or like, oh, there's a platform that Fox side B can like edge cancel on, right?
Right.
And on that note, actually, your punishes on my recovery are a little. It feels like you don't really have like a plan. You don't have like something in mind.
Yeah, no, I kind of just, like, I don't.
That's okay. Yeah, I'm not trying to, like, be like, oh, you don't have a plan for every situation, see? But it can be worth knowing your, like, common combo starters. I say combo starters, but, like, you know, based on, like, maybe, like, mid-percents for this scenario. Against a lot of the cast, at least more of the, like, floaty-ish members of the cast that aren't fast fallers, up until, like, 50 can just be a solid move, so. Oh no!
No.
Let me get some percents. Let me get that out of there. We'll use red. So like up there at 60, right? That's still a hit. And even though it's like you hit them away and you get stage, you get that pretty, especially with white throws, you get that pretty late. So that was like it's not like necessarily a kill confirm. I don't know if it's true for that long, but it's enough to kind of be a threat of like, hey, if you get grabbed, you might not die, but you're getting thrown, like you're ending up off stage. That does so much damage. Why does the jetpack do 10 damage?
Oop.
Okay, you had I like the idea though. If that wasn't a white Pikmin, I might have been dead.
Yeah, that and I don't go that deep usually because, like what just happened, I don't get back to stage.
So what you can do to mitigate that is instead of fast fall fairing, you can just like regular fall. And then just delay your aerial a little bit. Or double jump aerial, yeah, like that. Like you can occupy that space low to the ground. Or low to the blast zone, rather. Because height-wise, you can actually... If I don't miss the jump, you can actually get both. Easily. And then still make it pretty deep on stage if you want. Like, you retain a lot of mix-ups in case you miss. Because his aerials finish pretty fast, and his gravity's pretty low. Like, it's either his gravity or his fall speed that's pretty low. His fast fall speed's not... Like, it's about what you would expect. But it's... You have a lot of power off stage as floaties. Yeah, like, you almost made that back. And that's because you drifted too far to the side. Like, that wasn't a horizontal issue. Yeah.
Yeah. I might not make this one. Oh, I did.
Yep. And then from there, I think I remember us talking about this last time. Like, the ledge dash is just something that's really, really good. Like, you're like plus 12 or something ridiculous when you do it. So it's good to know. I think the easiest way to practice is practice. I worked a shift today. That's my defense right now.
It's okay.
The easiest way to practice it is to you can just go to like infinite time, go to any stage, and then just try to do it too fast at first for Olimar. So like back, double jump, air dodge on stage. It's a lot faster than, I don't know if it's faster than the rest of the cast in my experience. Because his double jump like starts so high, so like near the ledge already. Yeah, look at that. That shit's wild.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
Like this is like frame maybe 5 or 6 of double jump. He's already way above ledge. So it's something that you can like practice trying to do it too fast, and then from there it'll be a lot easier to just slow it down a little bit.
Okay.
And the big milestones you basically want to reach, which are pretty lenient when you have this much involved. The milestones you want to reach are being able to shield invincibly, and then roll is invincible frame 4, spot dodge is invincible frame 2. Jab is, I don't know the numbers on jab, down tilt, and up tilt, but being able to get some kind of hitbox out invincibly is also very useful. Same thing with grab. But the big ones are the defensive options. Like, if you can invincible ledge dash roll, they have to give you a lot more credit on ledge.
Right.
Because now, instead of being, like, vulnerable right at ledge, you're vulnerable, like, under the battlefield plat, right? And that's a very different space they have to cover. Or invincible ledge dash spot dodge changes up the timing they have to pressure you. Because normally, for characters that can't, like, attack out of their invincible ledge dashes, you can still pressure them. You can still, like, let's say if you're Fox, right? You can still try to drill shine them. Or as Wario, you can still, like, put them there where they're going to be. But the invincible ledge dash spot dodge mixes up that timing a little bit and can throw off their kind of like how they expect to make contact with you.
Yeah.
Because when you're doing the ledge dash, you can still be hit, or you can still be contacted. You just don't get hurt. Versus when you're spot dodging or rolling, you cannot be contacted by things. For some reason in Smash, there's two different forms of not being hit by things. Do you know what I'm talking about?
So, no, I kind of don't actually.
Okay, here. So, spot dodge. Oops, sorry. That does not hit you at all.
Nope.
I'm gonna run off and die, and then fall through the plat, and just start hitting me with anything you can.
Oh, that's what you mean.
Like you still make contact. See, there's that little like it almost looks like a small clank effect.
Right.
Because that's the same kind of state that you're in after a ledge dash. They're like, oh, this like here, just forward there where I am, and then I'm just gonna ledge dash. I'm really good at Smash Brothers. Oops. This is kind of hard to like manually time.
Yeah.
But the point being that it throws off the timing a little bit, and it's not the biggest deal in the world, but it can kind of add up. So basically, to kind of recap, for ledge dash, try practicing doing it too quickly, and specifically I think for Olimar, back is probably just better. Dropping with back so that way you don't fast fall because he's already. Oh, that's whack. I don't. His head bop's really funny. But see what's more comfortable for you. For Olimar, I expect that to be back because he already is so close to ledge. But if for whatever reason you like doing the ledge dash with down where you fast fall, go for it. Like, it is a comfort thing. Much like a control scheme, it's just a comfort issue.
Mm-hmm.
So then the end goal of a ledge dash is to be able to threaten like a jab, get shield up, or like get a rollout. So that way you have, it's not going to be just like, oh, it's ledge attack versus neutral get up versus like some Pikmin. Versus like ledge versus tournament winner forward air. Now all of a sudden, hey, jab grab is on the table when you were on ledge, barely recovering. Jab grab's on the table, down tilts might be on the table. Defensively, you have roll or spot dodge. Or even just like, Olimar's not the fastest buddy, but he can kind of run a little bit. Like in Melee especially, you'll see a lot of Fox's ledge dash run.
Yeah.
It's really strong. So like, even if you wanted to ledge dash shield, you can run first, throw off some spacing. Maybe somebody was trying to like work around a shield grab. Well, if you run and ledge dash run into shield, that's a little different spacing. That's all kind of like step 2, though. Step 1 is kind of just getting comfortable. I'd say getting comfortable enough to where you get enough invul to shield. How would I? I'm not sure of the easiest way to test this by yourself. Probably just go into debug. Let me pop up debug real quick. Where's is it hitbox display? Yeah. So in this blue state, that's when you're involved. Ideally, you want to see the blue and then the teal of the shield and no yellow in between. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
And then this can also help you test yeah, it might be easy to look at the number and be like, oh, if done perfectly, Olimar is plus 13. Like 13 for involvement after ledge dash, right? But being able to go like, oh, okay, I'm getting like 5. So I'm going to stick, like, for now, I'm going to either try to change my ledge dash, like improve that, or stick with like ledge dash jab and ledge dash roll.
Yeah.
So like knowing what results you're getting out of the things you're putting in is really important. Okay, I'm gonna go turn hitboxes off now. Models off? No.
Oh no.
Okay, start still works. Great. Okay, let's move on from ledge dashes, I think. Just because this is... Was that the dog? My roommate's dog made a very strange noise.
Oh.
Ledge dashes are basically a good way to avoid getting bullied. Let's talk a little bit more about how to bully someone who's on ledge, who has access to these invincible options. A lot of it is going to be just you have to respect their options a little bit. So as Olimar, if you think someone is going to like ledge dash shield, right? You can run up. Oh, I'm bad at this. I did not boost grab enough when I played. It's not in my hands. Oh, I have purples too. Get these out of here. So you can intentionally like run towards them, run away, and then use that to get the brawl pivot grab, the turnaround, the big one. That way you can kind of space outside of where they're going to be when they shield. And then it's a lot safer because you are much further away than the Pikmin.
Right.
Alternatively, you can just, do what we've been talking about before. No, wait, no, I'm get rid of these white Pikmin. Where you kind of just sit at the edge of where they'll be and just kind of like chuck or use fair and hit them. Because this is really hard to deal with if it's like right at the tip of the range. Like even as Olimar, a character who by definition has the same range and the same like, you can use this out of shield, it's hard to deal with. But especially for characters with less range or even with great shield grabs, like Marth kind of has a hard time dealing with this if he's not actively changing where he's shielding. And all of a sudden, hey, that's a lot of like stage control. Like that was fairs turned into tech chase at ledge, kind of baited out. Not like you picked the ledge hop option and missed, so you didn't have a jump, and all of a sudden, hey, this is a scary edgeguard situation. So it's very easy for for a single fair to turn into stage control or like another opportunity. Like what was it? It was like 30 some odd % in this matchup, where the fair started to send you in a tumble, which means it knocks you down, and if you DI up to not get knocked down, then all of a sudden, now there's a possibility of, if it's one of the weaker Pikmin, there's a possibility of, hey, you got to DI this at least a little bit out, or else you just get true combo faired. I'm so sad. Killing somebody with a jetpack hitbox is the best.
Yeah.
Look at the hip thrusts. How does this dude do it?
I don't know.
His vertebrae must be in shambles. Alright, so because the reward on this, it's so hard to punish, and the reward is kind of just, is very consistent. It can make it this can be a very like good go-to tool to kind of just like harass people until they have to do something else, right? Like you have to run at Olimar to make that worse on shield, or you have to to mess up the spacing, or you have to like maybe CC it if it's a weaker Pikmin into some CC option. But the point is they have to like change what they're doing, and if they're changing what they're doing, then that means that they're changing what they're doing. I have the controller down when I'm trying to talk. I can't talk and play at the same time sometimes. If they're changing what they're doing, then effectively, so like if they're running up shield and you keep fairing and run up shield doesn't work anymore, then they have to go to a different option, which they may not be as familiar with, and may be worse. They may be run up shielding because that's one of the best things their character can do against it. But,
yeah.
Best thing does not mean it's a good idea. So it might be like, oh, they have to come in as you whiff, almost like Marth style. Or they might have to like overshoot your dash dance. So like they have to take the initiative to change in some way.
Gotcha.
It was kind of far.
The get up attack?
Yeah, the antenna. I didn't think the antenna would
does.
have a hitbox. So something else. It's a little unrelated, but something that Olimar actually isn't too bad at is getting down from the air. Because you have, if you can B reverse whistle, you actually get a huge amount of like variability. Because it's such a low commitment. So like B reverse, I'm very good. B reverse whistle. Forward air can be a really good way to cover yourself. If you can be reverse whistle, which, there we go. I'm a gamer. I can do it sometimes. Because it's, the momentum change goes from like maximum right to maximum left. It can be a really, even though his max horizontal isn't fantastic, it's not great, it's enough to throw people off. Like even with Snake, his is not great. You'll see him be a reverse grenade and catch people who are trying to kind of like extend to hit him where he is. He'll kind of like go past them.
Oh.
So like if, let me get to...
Also, I hope this isn't a dumb question, but what do you mean by maximum horizontal? Like just horizontal drift? Or?
Yeah. So that's an attribute that characters have differently. So like the biggest example is Luigi's maximum horizontal airspeed is super low, whereas Wario's is super high. So like if I jump and then hold straight left, it takes me like 3 full super floaty jumps to get across FD. In fact, a little bit more than 3. Versus if Wario does that, even though he falls faster, it takes him less. He's more effective at that movement. His number's higher. So even though like Luigi's is probably, I think he's the lowest in the game, or like super down there. So like that's the kind of thing. If you bait out the nair from Luigi, he kind of like can't go anywhere. So like, if I start drifting when I nair, I can barely get to ledge. Or if I short hop nair, right? So if I short hop nair like right outside your range and it misses, you have a lot of time to recognize what's happening and go, okay, well Luigi, the like areas that Luigi could be is very minor because he can't drift very far. Whereas if Wario short hops, he could be anywhere. He could truly just go where he wants.
Right.
That was a wacky interaction. And there's a lot of power in that. So when you have that ability to B reverse the whistle, it gives you another option to kind of like suddenly accelerate from like all the way to the left to all the way to the right.
Gotcha.
Okay. Let's see. I think let's go ahead and just play a few more games again.
Okay.
I'm trying to think if there's anything I guess I can ask you, is there anything in particular that you like have questions about in a like more broad sense?
Trying to think.
I have not seen
even...
that. Oh, it's on time.
Oh, yep.
It's the classic. I think something we can also talk about in a little bit here, and then probably follow up on next time, is kind of like combo trees and what to do after you get a hit, and which hits to look for against different weight classes.
Right.
No. So, like, grab on floaties below 60 is really good. And even above 60, I think is pretty solid. Like, down tilt that isn't TC'd is really good. No.
Oof.
I was hoping it wouldn't reverse it. I'm sure you probably know up tilt against fast fallers, very, very consistent and solid. Even up tilt against floaties, frankly, is a really good way to kind of like get, you know, up tilt, you know, hey, hit them off stage with fair or bear, and then from there you can start. That can kind of be, you enact the game plan of, you know, bully them into doing something that you want or that is bad, that is risky for them, and then kill them. Like, all roads lead to, for the most part, most of Olimar's combo routes are going to lead to either fair or bear or some other way to get them off stage. And then from there, it's easier to go like, oh, hey, I caught the jump. All of a sudden, they're off stage.
Oh,
that was a really good tech.
I think I tech that. Hey.
The tech into the slow fall down.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd actually make it, and then, oh, I did. Oh, well.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, that pressure you were doing with just like the spaced aerials on shield, I think is pretty much exactly, it's a very good technique, and I think it's something, that's basically what you're looking for, I think. When you say that you like bullying people.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask about shield pressure, and then brain didn't work. I know red's good for that.
Yeah, red's better on shield because it does a lot of damage.
Oh no. Oh no.
For the most part, shield pressure is going to be you threatening to interrupt them with jab versus the thing that they could defensively get out of. So, here, let's actually turn on infinite shield.
That's a thing?
Yeah, it's in debug mode. It's great. Infinite shield. What? Okay. Put it on player 1 also. Yep, it's just a thing. So if you get a low fair or bear, and I mash shield grab, that's going to be the most common option. The most universal option, rather, right? And just like, hey, shield grab. Let me actually just get to just a normal Pikmin. Like, perfect, red. Olimar's going to be weird because his shield grab will take time to extend. But if you try to like fair jab, ideally it should beat shield grab. Yeah, perfect. That was a power shield. But yeah, traded there. Yeah, you can jab, I think, a lot faster than you expect. Like, I'm grabbing you out of a neutral position. Yeah, fully interrupted me there. So the threat of the jab and the threat of the down tilt instead of the jab. So like if you want a higher reward option that's a little slower, down tilt is going to be your go-to. And that's going to get them, that's going to, if you start doing that, they're going to want to shield for a little bit longer. Try to like, oh, shield grab the down tilt instead, right? So then once they, if you're having trouble with that, where people that are still shielding after they shield the fair, they're staying in shield, and maybe shield grabbing your down tilt, or like otherwise, kind of just moving in a way that is going to get around your shield pressure if when you do your like a fast follow-up. That means that they're respecting that, like, oh, I've seen that Flubbs is going to like fair jab me, like Falcon style, right? Yeah. So I'm going to just like block the jab or buffer the spot dodge, and then the grab, exactly. Especially because it'll beat spot dodge for the most part.
Conditioning.
Yep, pretty much, yeah. So you condition them, hey, if you try to shield grab, you're going to get hit by something. So go ahead.
Does the grab after that beat out the regular spot dodge and buffer spot dodge?
I've been buffering spot dodge. I don't regularly spot dodge. It's hard. Yep. Blue might not, based on spacing, because it might go past. Yeah, like that. But that's also spacing that's very close. That you don't need to be that close of a spacing. Because your jab actually goes pretty far. Like, you can threaten fair jab from a decent distance away. Same thing with fair grab and fair down tilt. Yep. And then if they block the jab, especially, I guarantee people aren't going to be moving out of this jab efficiently, because it feels... On shield, there is actual shield stun, even if the move doesn't have knockback for jab. Same thing with Fox lasers. So it makes it a very strange move to act out of. So they basically have to call out that you are going to do something fast and relatively punishable and wait it out. Whereas against a lot of the casts, Olimar's grab is really scary. Either as a kill confirm with blue, or as a kind of like a combo tool with perfect. Yeah. Because you can space out that F smash, but it's still a kill move.
Oh, yeah.
His grab is either scary as like a combo starter with the worse throws, or the lower damage, lower knockback throws, or it's a kill threat with the blue at high percent. And this is all assuming that they don't get hit by the aerial in the first place. So then, if they start just shielding the aerial and you want to just make sure that they don't have anything that they can do after, or let me rephrase that. If they start shielding the aerial and you just don't want that, you want them to second guess that, you could just tomahawk them, right? Like empty hop grab, empty hop jab, empty hop down tilt isn't great, just because you get in shield grab range.
Yeah.
Empty up up tilt.
Forward too.
Yeah, so you can't space it outside of shield grab range. But like empty up tilt is a better alternative in that way, because for the most part it does about the same job you want. Empty up F tilt could be like a delayed, like if you've conditioned them to think, oh, empty hop grab is coming, and they shield grab or like spot dodge, boom, F tilt.
Oh.
You could empty hop into another hop. Like, basically, if they start being afraid of the forward air and like letting you get away with empty hops, you can just go to town, right? Like, the world is your lasagna at that point. Because if they're trying to guess what you're react what you're going to do, like, oh, they didn't fair. Oh, they didn't fair again. Oh, they didn't fair again. Like, they're going to get stuck in a loop. They're going to have to make a decision eventually. Like, that's a big thing from the defender standpoint, is that every interaction where you're in shield, where the defender is in shield, they're going to have to do something out of shield. In this game, you don't really drop shield and act. You wave
Yeah.
dash, or you roll, or you spot dodge, or you shield grab, or you fair, or you nair, or you like let go of shield CC specifically, right? Like it's you make a choice out of shield versus shielding and dropping. So when getting out of shield has to be a decision, it can be you can wreak a lot of havoc with like trying to trying to punish them for a decision that they don't want to make in the first place.
Yeah.
That was wild grab range. And if they guess wrong on the initial, this is assuming that they're even staying in shield. Their decision might be like, oh, I want to show shield and then like intercept the forward air, right? So they can't start the pressure. In the same way that like against Falcon, you might want to like run up like shield just so long enough for them to see it and then try to intercept the knee. But let's go back to FD real quick. Just FD doesn't have platforms, so it's nice and easy.
Yeah.
In that same vein, you know, once they kind of show you the respect of shielding, because eventually, if you just keep doing this, they will start shielding.
Yeah.
There will come a day where they go, oh, I need to shield this. And then that's when you can start doing, you know, like empty hop grabs. You can call out timing with like, you know, double empty hop shield again, or empty hop rehop. Like, maybe you think they're going to like try to short hop over a grab, right? You can empty hop, or empty hop and then be ready for an up tilt. Like, it really is modular in the sense that like you can kind of just like, I don't want to say plug stuff in, make it sound thoughtless, but like if you think they're good, you can go like, oh, I think this person's going to jump. You can run up smash them. You could just empty hop forward air again while like fading away. You could empty hop, or not even empty hop. We're all assuming empty hop, right? Like you could just like short hop, then double jump, maybe landing back air. And like cross them up and then get something started, right? Like this is suddenly a lot of damage off of just what was like, oh, you thought you knew how this interaction was going to go. Now I'm behind your shield with up tilt, or you know, with that same problem of like, what do against Olimar's like landing aerials. And this is all universal too. Like there are some characters that don't have to deal with this as much. So like Sheik has a better answer than a lot of the cast to some of this kind of pressure with her nair. She has very low, her jump squat's very fast, and her nair hits on both sides of her. So maybe you want to pressure her in a different way. Like, oh, I don't want to get grabbed by Sheik, so maybe I'll cross her up and then try to stay outside of grab range if I stay in the front, just to avoid options A, B, and C. Or like Olimar, right? Like, oh, if I'm going to shield pressure Olimar and I think they're going to press a button, I want to go behind them because Bear is slower than Fair. And you can kind of just like plug in, like, oh, Ike's out of shield is bad, but his grab is punishing. Don't get grabbed. Or like against Donkey Kong, don't get grabbed by Donkey Kong. Getting hit by Bear is fine. So be in front of him less than you're behind him. And things like that. And then you can do the same thing with player habits, right? So let's say you're playing against a player that you think is a little like skittish, just doesn't want to be in shield for very long, whether because their characters out of shield is bad or they don't want to get like tied down in shield. You might start like, oh, hit the shield once and then just wait for a roll or like wait for like a spot dodge. And like the roll away is a very common one, and it's usually that requires like an explicit like punish, like a read. But you still win if they roll away. Because, so if I'm pressuring you here, right? And you roll away, I can just walk up and now the situation is nearly the same, but you are further to ledge, which is the win.
Oh.
Because, like I mentioned earlier, all of Olimar's biggest pressure options, right? Like either the fair or bear directly, the up tilt, down tilt, or the up throw, they all lead to the like, hey, go further off stage, right? You're getting pushed off stage. And now all of a sudden, then you can play the game of like edge guarding and just kind of bullying them in disadvantage, going, oh, you better, like, against Falcon, right? Like, if you're playing against Falcon and they jump and you hit them, they're dead. Like, full on, just Falcon without a jump, like right here, you can just fair. You can just fair 30 times. Or a Falcon that has to up B, like, you can just, you know, you can just put the Pikmin where they have to go. And there's not really a lot the Falcon can do about it. So, like, even for some characters that have, like, recoveries that are straightforward, even if they're, like, fine, like Olimar recovery, right? It can be a lot easier to edgeguard them by going to where they are. Or, actually, let me go to Fox to show you. It's a lot easier to edgeguard most characters by going to where they are versus going to where you think they might be. So, as an example, right, edgeguarding Fox. We're going to ignore side B for now, because side B is... Actually, we'll talk about side B too. But we'll talk about side B in a minute. So, if Fox is right here, there's a lot of angles he could go that still get him to ledge. There's some angles he can go that get him to stage. Trying to figure out what the Fox player is going to do is hard. So, if you can put yourself in a position where you can, like, in this instance, right, like, run off fair and cover multiple angles, or hit him before he moves, then that's usually for the best. Because not only then do you hit him, it's easier to hit him, but then you've hit him further away from stage, right? He's down here. Doing fire. Oh shit! Fire! Especially on fast fallers, because they fall so fast. So even the teeniest little hits that don't send to the tumble, just like a rock. Just wheel. And the same thing with side B. With Fox side B. There's something that Mewtwo King specifically does a ton in Melee, where as the Fox... actually, if you wouldn't mind switching to Fox for me, it's easier to show kind of like when you're in charge of the timing. Go to Fox, and then I'll be Marth. When you knock someone off stage, and they have something like Fox side B, we'll just... It's usually a lot easier to kind of like fall with them, where they'll be when they do their move. Like you saw how I got that forward air right at ledge, right? Damn it. So here, let's say if I forward smash you at ledge, I want to try to stay at that same vertical height when you side B.
Okay.
And Olimar, especially with Olimar Fair is way better at this than Marth Fair. Damn it. Here, I'll try to get the snapshot this time. See, here I was too early. So I'm on the ground in the end lag of my move when your side B starts moving. What the idea is... Oops. I didn't move this into higher up. DI like up and in.
Okay.
What does Marth have? Oh, down smash. Tipper down smash. Yeah, so the idea is I want to try to, like, be moving with you. So then, if you do your side B, I'm ready with that fair already, and if you don't, I'm immediately landing and moving to go, like, run off stage, because in this instance I know that you're off stage because you didn't do, like, I just did the fair anyway, right?
Yeah. And
then Marth does the Marth forward air and the space he dies. do the edge guard, Mewtwo King. Okay. I just missed the jump button. I'm really good.
Oh, and jump.
But yeah, Olimar can do the same thing because his fair and bear are so straightforward, right? Let's go back to FD real quick.
Right.
So, and he's also actually, he's equally, like, he's pretty much about as floaty, so it can be the same kind of like, what do I do here? I guess I'll just, down smash kind of sends away. I'll just, I think up smash. not kind of like falling with the opponent. And you can do this even when it's just a jump, right? So let me forward throw you. So just DI it up. Then, oh hey, you didn't side B. I can just now edgeguard the up because I know that's what's coming. You want to be at the same horizontal plane as somebody, basically.
Okay.
And you actually have a fair bit of leniency because the fair starts like up here and ends a little down here. You don't have to be like pixel perfect.
Right.
Yeah, see, that was a low hit, too, on that forward air. Further isn't the best. Maybe down throw? Down throw kind of works. We get 1 more %. Okay. So I'm going to down throw you, DI it offstage. See, there I jumped too early. So I was below you when you side bead, and even if I get the up air, you can just go on stage and you're safe, basically.
Yeah.
Similarly, if I go too high, then I can't really get a good hit on you either. Because same thing with down air, right? You can kind of go to stage and you're fine. You want to get that forward air, especially as Olimar, because if you hit a character without a jump with forward air at ledge, usually they're dead. Like maybe not Mario, Luigi might be dead, Peach no, but like a lot of the faster characters that are harder to deal with. Like,
Ganon, Falcon,
Spaceys,
Donkey Kong,
PK
probably.
Kids. Oh yeah, for sure, Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong, you could probably just dare and be safe. The Swordies, like Meta Knight to an extent, because his jumps are very small. So even if he tries to jump out of stuff, sometimes you can still just hit where he will be, and he'll jump and still get hit by it. It's very fun. Like because I don't want to say it's a full-on weakness, because there's positives and minuses, but because any of these individual jumps are very small, if I'm trying to like jump over something, you might just hit me anyway. But yeah, I think that's something to kind of, when I say work on, I mean like be more aware of.
Right.
So like let's say Olimar. Even Olimar's up B has a ton of different like options. Something that you were kind of having trouble with was when I would up B like here. That's a curse frame. I don't like that.
Yeah, no.
I could like do a short distance, drift back to ledge, long distance, drift back, long distance, drift forward, short distance, like end up like right on the lip of the stage. And that's hard to deal with because there's a lot of ways I could go. But that's only really hard to deal with from on stage. So in this instance, yeah, exactly. If you just go off stage to where I don't have options, like if I've already used, yeah, perfect. That's exactly the kind of thought process you want to go for.
Oh, okay.
Because if the opponent has the time to start the recovery, a lot of recoveries you give them aerial drift. A fair number of recoveries have like Olimar has like shorten and like the long version and the neutral version. He has a lot of aerial drift too for this. He has a really good ledge grab box, so like, okay, I didn't get it there, but even if you stay on stage, by the time you by the time you actually get to like edgeguard the character, okay, well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like even on Falcon, you might be like trying to like kind of like down air at ledge or like down smash, and they just don't get hit by it. Or like Game & Watch, or even Donkey Kong or the Spaceys. So if you just take the fight to them with with like a forward air, that's usually the easiest and most effective. Then they kind of just explode. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm not gonna make back from there. Oh, thank you. Oh.
I died. Yeah, it's a lot of characters. There are some characters that you can edgeguard like in a reactive manner. But even then, you have to like be really precise and really on point and invest a lot of like energy into it. Like you can probably just like Mewtwo, for example. Mewtwo can just down smash Falcon at ledge forever until he techs, but once he techs, oh, now there's a problem. Versus, it's a little more energy initially to like, oh, go off stage, hit the helpless character because you could miss. Or they could, hit the up B early. And there's a little more variability, but it is overall a higher success rate and a safer option. It's a more consistent way to get those early stocks.
Yeah.
And to secure those late ones. All right. I don't want to go super far over time. Would you want to play like a best of 5 and to kind of like wrap it up?
Sure.
Sick. All right. Let's just hit random stage.
Yep.
It's an Olimar Ditto on net play. It's gonna be a set.
I'm not gonna ask to strike or anything.
Get your children off of me. Good DI on that white forward there.
Yeah, no, if I DI in on that, I'm just getting hit again.
Yep. That was a wild reverse hit. It's unironically not a bad ledge option. It's very weird. Oh, we still have infinite shield. When one of us dies, I'll hit that real quick.
Oh, yeah.
That happened in the lesson the other day too. For like 20 minutes, I kept forgetting to like turn it off when it came up. Yeah.
Never heard this song in Delfino's before.
Is this a default song?
I think so. We have vanilla.
Yeah, it is 2.29. This character is insane.
Yeah.
Be like
goofy.
Offstage tango. I love the forward tilt. You just fine. I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
Oh, it's time. We're believers.
No. Oof.
Did that even have startup?
Barely.
No, if I got one more, well, you probably weren't dead anyway.
Yeah,
Why did it explode there?
Oh, that's not an up B.
So something I've noticed is also that you don't up throw a lot. Sometimes it feels like you throw for edge guarding, which is, it's fine, but I think in this matchup it might not be great.
Yeah, I kind of just instinctually throw to ledge because I just want to get people off stage, but against a floaty, probably not the best idea.
Yeah, against a fast faller, like 100%, like Wario back throw them at 0. Like 100%, just take their jump, take their lives, take their will to live, take their tournament stocks. But I think against floaties, unless you have like a read on their recovery or it's an exploitable recovery, like the PK kids, it might be. It's usually safer to just up throw, get the hit, like push to the stage that way. So that way, when you hit them off stage, you have the time to then go edgeguard them, and when you hit them off stage, sorry, when you hit them from on stage, you have the time to go run off stage and edgeguard them. And when you hit them off stage, they go very far away and usually die. Oh, I held the button on accident.
Oh.
I didn't think I would make it.
Yeah, I didn't think so either. Oh. Oh, that was silly.
I was so close to grabbing ledge. No, not like this.
No.
As I chain grabbed you like 4 times. Like, no, how could you do this to me?
Imagine holding ledge.
Couldn't be me. I grew up as a Falcon main with integrity and values. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Oh no, not the one blue.
I missed. Something I want to point out that I think was a very good call. When I was pressuring you on platform with like nair up tilt and then I dropped through it, you did win at the top plat. Like, you can 100% just leave the situation. That's a win.
Yeah, when I feel overwhelmed like that, I'm like, I'm not gonna challenge that. I'm just gonna back out for a bit.
That's a good habit. From what I've seen, a lot of Smash players get into the habit of like, oh, well, if I'm perfect, I should be able to shine on a shield. It's like, or you could just leave. Like, getting out of a position that's bad is still a good thing. Especially once your shield gets low, and then you kind of run the risk of getting a shield poke before you can do your whatever option you picked. Yeah, it's one of the call out. I think that's a really good habit. And being able to recognize the situation is also really useful. It begins. Get hype.
Oh no.
Get hype for darkness effects on every other throw. I had to commit to running that way to avoid the blue grab. How could you? The Pikmin was a valuable member of my family.
Unfortunate. Oh no. No, not like this. No, no, no. Oh.
It's the rocket. It truly is like the worst way to get counter edge guarded. With the exhaust fumes of a rocket, of a 1-inch plant man.
I like when I do it.
It's the nature of bullying.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good the other way around.
Yeah, let's go. Getting lucky with blue. Speaking of bullying, oh yeah, that's probably. I think that probably is the correct DI. The just up and in.
Oh.
Okay, so last thing I want to call out before we kind of recap real quick. Let's go to FD. Nice, good old FD. A lot of the times, and this will be alleviated as you kind of get more comfortable with like ledge dashing, even just like as a defensive move. But a lot of the times you would come off a ledge with like ledge hop into fair, which is like it's a good aerial, but it does mean that like if I hit you out of that, you don't have jump. And there were a few times tonight where like I would hit you out of that and you didn't have jump, and that would be a large reason that you would have to like take a predictable path with up B. Because you just needed the distance. Yeah, like I know ledge dashing might be objectively better than like neutral get up, but neutral get up is fine. Like neutral get up, roll. Tournament winner, if you want to attack at that angle, is also really good. So pressing the jump button on ledge. Calling it ledge jump, I don't like, because ledge hop is what dropping from ledge and jumping is called, and it's really ambiguous. But yeah, this still works if you want to like kind of come out of the corner or try to like kind of get some distance between. If someone's like at the spacing trying to punish your ledge hop fair, tournament winner puts you in a pretty good spot usually. It also doesn't use your jump, which is really big. So if you really wanted to, you could just. I'm very good at this game. You could like tournament winner double jump, which will put you a little higher than they might be expecting. And if you drift on stage, boom. Even if you get hit, you're fine. You have B reverse moves once you're that high. Like. At that point, you have a lot more options again because you have that height, because you have the hitboxes. It's not just ledge hop into either fair or nothing, right? You're not gonna be able to change your trajectory once you start that, very very much at least. But yeah, overall, I think. Oh yeah. Get a party going on.
The Olimar rave.
Oh yeah, 100%. So I think the big things to kind of focus on before next session are going to be a goal will be like try to get comfortable with the ledge dash to at least the point of getting shield out, which is frame 1. So getting a frame of invuln off of ledge dash and kind of having that in your toolkit will help a ton on ledge. And once you kind of get that down, that'll help also with the habit of ledge hop fairing, because you'll have other options you can go to. Rather than, it's like ledge hop fair or like tournament winner or something that's like a little
Yeah.
Additionally, I think try to think like a little bit ahead on like, oh, okay, if I get this grab, am I going to up throw this character or am I going to like throw this character off stage? Especially based on percent, right? So like, if I get this grab, but it's a blue and they're at 80, just throw off stage because up throw doesn't do anything. Or, if it's a white Pikmin, maybe up throw even if I can throw them off stage because it has less knockback. In general, if you default to up throw against floaties, you're pretty much good. And you default to throwing fast follows off stage, you're pretty much good.
Okay.
Excuse me. Aside from that, also try to work on getting more comfortable in that position of bully power, and like how to use the threat of that forward, that aerial. Nair is also really good for that. We didn't talk about it a lot, but it doesn't always have to be forward air on shield. You can do Nair on shield and then enforce like, oh, the opponent might know that forward air they can kind of like chic Nair up, but what about Olimar neutral air? It just being a different move can kind of give a lot of hesitation into the mix.
Yeah.
But I think aside from that, it feels like you're a lot more comfortable with like, oh, this is the blue Pikmin. Blue's good at kill throws and like high knockback throws. I'll throw off stage with this blue Pikmin. It's like, oh, that's great. Like it doesn't feel like you don't have that hesitation of like, oh, blue Pikmin, grab, yeah. It's like a little more automatic now.
Right.
Which is really, really good improvement since the last session. I think that's the big stuff. Do you have any other questions before we break?
Nope, I think that covers everything.
Sick. All right, I'm going to go ahead and cut the stream.